Welcome to Comparisons, For Loops, and Strings in C. Okay, so again, what we're going to do is File, New, File, C, Next, and then we are going to call this, let's just call this Strings. Okay. All right. Finish. Pound sign include stdio dot h, and we're also going to include string. Pound sign include string.h. Okay. We'll do int main. Okay. Now, let's talk about the for loop. Okay. Before we get, let's talk about strings. When I do, let's say, car name bracket 5, or let's just say 6 for name, and let's say I set it equal to Mark. Okay, so what we are saying is that name bracket 0 is equal to M. Okay, and then name bracket 1 is equal to A. So this is what we're actually doing. Okay, name bracket 2 is equal to R, and these actually should be single ticks, not double ticks, because these are characters. Okay, and as I said, characters and string cannot be interchangeable in C. Okay, so these are the same. Name bracket 3 is equal to K, and name bracket 4 is equal to \0. Okay, so now I can printf name %s, comma name, and this is just going to be the same as this. It's just going to print Mark. Okay, just so you can see that, I'm going to change this to name 2, and I am going to print them both here, name, and then name 2. I'm going to put a comma between it. That's what the comma does there. Okay, and okay, I forgot my semicolon. Okay. All right. Okay, I do need to declare it. So car name bracket 6. Okay, but this time we're not going to say what it's equal to. Okay, we just created the array, told it how big it is. Okay, now this is 6. So what really happens is that name bracket 5 is also assigned the null character. Okay, so remember, 6 goes from 0 to 5. Okay, that gives you 6 characters. All right, there we go. Now let's print it. And as you can see, Mark, comma Mark, they are both the same. All right. So that's what happens when you create a string. Now, one thing you can do is with strings is stir cat. All right, and stir length. Okay, let's do this. Comma %d, comma %d, and I'm going to use the sterling. Now this will tell you the length of the variable, and then we're going to do size of. Now what size of does is let me just show you and see if you can guess. Okay? All right. So I need to close this first, and then let's build it, and let's run it. Okay, so 4 is the actual length of Mark. So what do you think the size of name does? Okay, I'll give you a couple seconds. All right, so it tells us how much space was reserved in the computer's memory for our name variable. See, we reserved 6 characters. We only used, we only see 4, but the other 2 are all nulls. Okay, so we're actually using them. Okay, which is why, in the old days, you did not want to do character name 1000 if you're only going to use, 2 to 10 letters usually for a name. So, because, that uses up a lot of space, and long time ago, 1,000 characters was a lot. Now you can put 10,000 characters and it wouldn't matter, okay? You're probably running on a computer that has a huge amount of memory, and so it's not going to care. Of course, when you're producing sophisticated projects, you don't want to do that. Okay, you want to put in as little memory as possible so that your customers don't have a whole lot of space being taken up on their computers. So anyway, so this is how string works. Okay, so sometimes you'll use this sterling to see how long something is, and then sometimes you'll use size of. All right, now another thing you can do with stir is called stir copy. So I can do stir copy, stir cat. Sorry, yeah, we can do stir copy also. Oops. Edit, undo, edit, undo. There we go. So we're going to look at stir cat for right now. There are quite a few other functions that we can look at. We'll look at those later. Okay, so stir cat, and I'm going to put name, comma, name2. Okay, now, can you see the problem here? Okay, what this is going to do is going to put name2 on the end of name. All right, so let's build that. Okay, so it didn't give us a problem here. Okay, it didn't let us know there's a problem. Let's try running it. Okay. Oh, I forgot to print it. We need to print in order to see what happened. Print F %s, comma, %s. We are now going to print name and name2. Okay, let's go ahead and put a new line character at the end. It's always good. Let's see here. Don't want that. There we go. Printf, let's see here. Forgot the semicolon. There we go. Okay, let's run it. All right. So, look what it printed. Okay. It took name2, which of course is Mark, and it put it on top of the other name2. Now remember, name2 was actually MARK \0 \0. Okay, so it's going to put that M on top of this \0. And then it's going to put that A on top of this \0. Okay? But why did name2 only show up as RK? Okay? Actually, I'm very glad this happened because I was going to show you what happens when you do something like this, and this actually proved my point. Okay? So, let me go ahead and show you the other screen here. So, let's say I have name as 6 characters. Okay? Name 0, M, and then A, R, K. So, that is name bracket 3. Name 4 and 5 are the null characters. And let's say I have my state as being state 0, state 1, state 2. That's Kentucky with a null character. And then I have occupation. And my occupation is programmer. Okay, now, of course, these memory locations would be much longer in real life, but, this is for us humans to be able to look at. See, the computer has decided that memory location 100, he's going to start name. At memory location 106, he's going to start Kentucky. And then memory location 109 is going to start occupation. Now, what happens if I try to concatenate occupation onto the end of name? Well, it's going to find this null character, and then it's going to take the occupation and put it there. So now, instead of name 0 through name 5, it's now got name 0 through name 14. Okay? But look what happened. Look at memory location 106. It contains name 6, which is 0. But the originally memory location 106 was Kentucky, or started with Kentucky. So state is gone. Okay? And that's what happened in our program. And this is why you have to be careful. So you need to plan ahead on how much space things are going to take. So, in our example, it overwrote the M and A in our second name. Okay? So, when we put name 2 at the end of name, we lost the first 2 characters because, in our program here, it first put, it has space for name and name 2. And then when we overwrote it, it just overwrote on top of it. Okay? All right. So, name 2 got appended. So let me just show you this. So right now, it'll be easier if I just show you. All right, so what I'm going to show you now is name. Name has M-A-R-K, all right? But then it also has M-A-R-K. Now, name 2 would have actually started here with M-A-R-K, all right? But this overwrote this, so all we have left is our RK. Okay? All right. Actually, sorry, this is name. So name is equal to mark. See, I stir-catted name 2 onto name. So name is equal to mark, and then name 2 only has the RK left. Okay? So that is the main problem. All right? So you must make sure that if you're going to stir-cat something, then this has got to be long enough to handle it. Okay? All right. So let's get rid of that. And let's go ahead and get rid of this stir cat. And now let's learn about the for loop. Okay? So now the for loop is the initialization part. So I'm going to put int a or int I. It doesn't matter. I is less than the length of name, and then I equals I plus 1. So the for loop, you have your initialization, I equals 0, and then you have your condition statement. As long as I is less than the length of name, the length of name is 4. So as long as I is less than 4. And then you have your incremental stage. So I'm going to say I is equal to I plus 1. So first 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. Whoops. Then we're going to get out. Okay? And then I'm going to print F. I'm going to print the I. And then I'm going to print name bracket I. Okay? And then I am going to print the actual name. All right, I think that is done correctly. Let's take a look here. So the first %D is going to be my I. The next %D is also going to be my I. And then here is going to be name bracket I. Now this is a character, so I don't want %S, I want %C. Okay? All right, let's give that a shot. Name bracket I. There we go. Oh, I forgot to close this. All right. Oh, I used len. Sorry. String length. There we go. All right. Okay. So, as we can see, our I is 0. Name 0 is M. 1. Okay, so A. So it worked fine. So this is our for loop. Now, one of the things we cannot do is this. We cannot do %D, comma, name bracket 0, name bracket I. Or how about this? Let's print I. We can't do that. Okay? Why is that? Well, we initialize the I here. And this bracket here is the body at which I is defined. Just like this name 2 is defined in this body from here to here. So this I is only defined from here to here. If I try to print this now, the computer's going to say, hello, what's I? You haven't told me what I is. It completely forgot that we already talked about I, because I is only here for this stage. Okay? So it has no idea. And I don't know if the compiler will give it an error or not. Maybe it might let us run it and then get an error then. But I think we'll get an error. Let's try it. Hit compile. And there it says, look here, undeclared. First use in this function. Okay? It says, hey, I haven't been used before. So, if you want to remember this I, then we can take this out, and then we can make int I up here. We don't have to say what it is because we're going to say it down here. Okay? Then this will work. Compile. Run. Okay? And now, as we can see, I is 4, but it didn't go into this loop because 4 is not less than the length of name. The length of name is 4. So it's equal but not less than. Okay? So you do have to worry about that, where you're going to declare things. If you're going to declare it in here, then the I is available after your for loop. If you declare it in here, it's not available. Okay? All right. So that is the for loop. Now, notice I increased by 1. You don't have to increase by 1. You can increase by 2, for example. Would that be a good idea to do? Let's say you wanted to print the even numbers or the odd numbers. Okay? You could multiply by 2. Okay? You want to do exponential. You could subtract. So you want to count down, blast off. Okay? So, or you could have it go forever. Okay? So, of course, that's not good. So you'll need to do something like break later. We'll learn about break later. Okay? All right. So let's see. What else is there to cover? The only other thing we want to talk about are these comparison operators. Okay, there's quite a few comparison operators that you can have. Now, the most popular are going to be less than or equal to. In that case, you'll have this. Okay, greater than or equal to, you'll have this. And then we also have the equals. You know, for example, if we want I equals to the string length of name. And then, of course, not equal. Okay? Okay, I think you have enough to do the homework now. All right? So just remember that names, make sure you have it long enough, especially if you're going to do something like stir cat. Okay? String length is always very important. Size of will tell you how much memory something is taken up. For example, try it with int. How much space does an int take up? Okay? And do the same thing with float. All right? Okay. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye.